Sure. Good morning. My name is Mario Ramirez. I'm head of special collections and archives at the University Library. I want to welcome you to what is the first of one of our library open houses to give you an overview of the kind of services the library can provide for you in the coming semesters in order to make your journey through the university a better one and a much more informed one. First, I want to welcome everyone to the new semester, and particularly for those new students, I want to welcome you to Cal State L.A. I think it's a triumph that everyone is online today, and so congratulations and kudos to everybody. Before we move into our program, into our agenda, I want, there are about four or five of my colleagues on this call, on this Zoom call, and so if they would introduce themselves, I'd really appreciate it. Somebody want to go first? Azalea.
I can start first. My name is Azalea Camacho. I'm the archivist and special collections librarian at Cal State L.A. and I've been here at Cal State L.A. for about 6 years or so, a little over that. And welcome to Cal State L.A.
Hi, I'm Matthew Prutzman, and I'm the head of operations and user experience for the library.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Leticia Terrones, and I am Learning and Instruction Services librarian at Cal State L.A.
Oh, hi, my name is Holly Yu. Welcome to the library. I'm Library Electronic Resources librarian responsible for the library's electronic resources, which including articles, ebooks, online newspapers, streaming video, music, and more. We have a unit 2 of people working on this area, and one of us was a Cal State LA graduate.
Fantastic. So we do have a full agenda for you today. Each of the individuals who just introduced themselves, each of my colleagues will be covering a section of this agenda. So we gave you the welcome. And so next we'll be talking about what the library online is like. We'll be looking also at some of our online resources, some of the print resources that you can still access, some of the research assistance that we provide, my favorite area, of course, special collections and archives. But towards the end, we'll all sort of give you a summary of some of the takeaways, some of the things, important things you need to think about about some of the resources at the library, and then we'll make some quick announcements about some upcoming events that we'll be having online as well. So with that said, take it away, Letty. The library is online.
Okay. Well, first of all, I wanted to just affirm a warm welcome to everyone, and to say hello to my colleagues this morning. Yeah, so we have many resources that are completely online. So we're, the whole campus has transitioned to virtual instruction, virtual learning, virtual teaching, and the library has moved fully online as well. So you can think of the library as being available and accessible to you, and now everything that you need as far as library materials and resources is at the touch of your fingertips. We are here to help you succeed in your courses, and particularly with your research and scholarly activities. So getting all of the materials that you need to write your papers, to research your projects, and then also to maybe start thinking ahead and sort of contemplating how you would like to unfold your future career paths. The most sort of, in my opinion, the most important role of being a college student, the most important thing that you're going to do is develop your critical thinking and inquiry skills. Always constantly asking why, the why behind things. And in order to get a clear understanding about, the answer to that why, you're going to need to read what other people have read, have studied about X topic, and you're going to need to sort of like develop your strong muscles of inquiry. And the library, including the librarians and all of the materials, are here to help you build really strong critical thinking muscles. I believe Holly?
Yes, hi, welcome
Hi.
again. The library, as Lati just mentioned, the library provides online resources 24/7 for you to access a variety of formats, that including scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles and newspaper articles, ebooks, and streaming videos and streaming music. And we have a lot of data sets, statistics, and the primary sources that including such as artworks, memoirs, and letters, stuff like that. We have like 230 databases and 70,000 electronic journals that you can all access to millions of articles. And we have about 500,000 of ebooks that you can read and download online. And we have about 100,000 streaming videos, including a lot of educational films and other films, and the streaming music as well. These resources covers all courses and the majors that is taught on campus and to support your learning, your research, your creative activities, and your community engagement, and your career development. Next slide, thank you. All of these online resources that are totally free to our students and to anybody who studies and works on this campus. And they can be accessed remotely from your home or from anywhere as long as you have internet access. And you always wanted to start your research access library resources from library web homepage. The address is library.calstatela.edu. So when you try to access library electronic resources from off campus, the library's website does not recognize you as being a Cal State LA student. You may encountering error messages like full text articles or ebooks, it's not available. You have no access, or you're being asked to pay for access. So all of this can be eliminated if you just log in using your My Cal State LA portal ID and password. You will be automatically being prompted to a login screen, or you can download the campus VPN to access it seamlessly. Just remember the login name and the password is your Cal State LA login username and the password. And we have many tools on the library's web homepage that you can access right away. That including a big one search box that is Google-like a search box, and you can search just your searching Google. And we also have other search tools, like if you want to directly access to databases, there is a link over there. You can access to over 300 databases that listed, and you can directly search for a journal if you have a citation, or you can use Google Scholar directly from library homepage. Next. Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My email address is hyu3@calstatela.edu, or use the library's email address at library@calstatela.edu. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. As I mentioned before, the department that I'm head of is called Operations and User Experience, and I'd like to talk a little bit about print resources and just the services that we offer. Next slide, please. So just a quick overview to what we provide. During regular times when the library is physically opened, we do a lot of work in the building to provide study spaces and good environments for you all when you're there. Currently, the library is not open for the fall. So what we are planning on doing for this fall is providing access to physical collections, course reserves, and materials borrowed from other libraries. Next slide, please. So just to go a little more in depth as to what that access to physical collections would look like, we will soon begin mailing items to patrons. We're still waiting for final approval from campus on that program, but we will announce that on the library website when it is live. We will be mailing items from the library's general collection to students. So those are items that in the library catalog, as Holly was just talking about, OneSearch. If you see physical items in the library catalog that say they have a location of North 2nd, North 3rd, South 3rd, or storage, those items will be eligible to be mailed to you at the address of your choosing at a time in the near future. For fall 2020, the library is only able to provide electronic reserves. So we are not able to provide any access to the library's physical reserve collection at this time. The electronic reserves that are available are listed, again, through OneSearch that Holly was just talking about. There is a reserve search scope on there, and any electronic reserves can be found on there. If there is something for your course that is not available electronically, you might want to reach out to your professor and also talk to them about that. We also provide access to non-Cal State L.A. journal articles and book chapters. So we have a service, interlibrary loan, where we can request things that are not owned by the university for you. The journal articles and book chapters we are currently able to process. So if you need an article from a journal or a chapter from a book, you can request those through the library website and the interlibrary loan pages. In the future, we will also begin mailing items from other libraries to you. So I mentioned that we would mail items from the library's collection to you. But in case you're unaware, the library also does get materials from other libraries, so other CSUs and even libraries beyond the CSUs, books that we do not own or are currently unavailable. We request those for students at no charge to you. Currently, that service is unavailable, but in the near future, we will be restarting that service and mailing them to people at home as well. Next slide. So again, my name is Matthew Prutzman. My email address is listed there. You can also just email that email address, library@calstatela.edu. It's probably a lot easier to remember than my email address. So if you just send any questions there, me or someone from my team would be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Letty, I think this is your section.
Oh, this is mine. Pardon me. May I have the next slide, please, to describe the online services? Okay, so earlier I had mentioned that the library is here to support your academic success, all of your intellectual endeavors that you're engaging in at Cal State L.A. And in specific, one of the ways that we provide online assistance is by connecting you to research assistants specifically. Did you know that every single discipline and major that is studied at Cal State L.A. has an assigned specific subject librarian? What does that mean? That means that these specific librarians are trained in this disciplinary area, and they're very familiar with the literature, the methodologies, the main thinkers, or, you know, the really recognizable thinkers that unfold, you know, this particular discipline. And they're able to very quickly focus you to the types of resources that you need that are specific to your disciplinary area. But sometimes, especially, you know, when you're, you know, just sort of first starting off as a researcher, which is kind of like a really sort of typical place for many of us, is sort of being kind of like a beginner in research. You kind of, before you kind of understand all of the ins and outs of your discipline, you have to engage in conversation about, you know, what is sociology, for instance? What are the ways that sociologists, what are the methods, the ways that they conduct research that distinguish sociology as a field? The way that you study sociology is very different from the way that you would study, let's say, the visual arts, or the ways that you would study literature, you know, in any language. So I really encourage students, especially, you know, undergraduate students, to get into a good habit of, one, figuring out who are the subject librarians for the classes that you're taking. And you're probably taking classes that are outside of your specific major. So not only who is the librarian for your major, but also who's the librarian for the variety of classes that you're taking. And then get into the habit of scheduling a research consultation. At first, it's kind of scary, you know, because it's like, what do I talk about? But rest assured that subject librarians and research reference librarians, sort of like a technical sort of jargony term, but basically librarians are trained to get to the bottom of the real question that you're trying to ask. So it doesn't matter if you don't really know what you're looking for in terms of information. The important thing is to reach your hand out, so to speak, and make a connection and schedule an appointment. And rest assured that the librarians are trained to take it from there. They're going to ask you a series of open-ended questions. They're going to ask you a series of close, focused questions to help you get to the answer that you really, really need. And again, this is not something that is like shopping at the store. I need, you know, I don't know, a carton of eggs. I know exactly where to go to get a carton of eggs to make a cake. It's not really like that. What you need to do is engage in a lot of conversation to really understand the ins and outs of your disciplinary area. All of that is part of the research process. There are sorts of kind of open-ended things that you do in research, and then there are very specific things that you do in the research process. What are those exact steps? When you seek a research consultation, the librarian will guide you through the very sort of detailed step 1, step 2, step 3 sorts of, I guess, steps to take to begin doing research. And again, kind of taking it back to the beginning, what distinguishes you as a scholar is your critical inquiry, your investigative eye, your sort of gut instinct of how to, you know, embark on a topic. And not only knowing what your topic is about, but then participating in the conversation, saying something about it, making a stake, putting out a claim, and then defending it with evidence that, for instance, Holly just described, my colleague, evidence that comes from books, evidence that comes from research articles, and then citing that evidence in a scholarly sort of way. All of that is part of the research process. If you need immediate help, also, please keep in mind that every single page on our library website has this little chat icon. It's like a yellow sort of instant kind of chat bubble. If you click on that, you will be connected instantly to a live librarian. And during our open hours, you'll be connected to one of the subject librarians at Cal State L.A. And during our sort of closed or off hours, you'll be connected to another librarian that's somewhere in the sort of network of librarians that we have. But everyone who is part of LibChat is here to help you get your quick answers. So again, don't just count on the LibChat, but actually make sure that you're engaging all of these 4 sorts of access points. Your subject librarian, consulting with regularity about your research, understanding what the research process takes, and sort of finding your way through it, and then seeking immediate help through the LibChat. Next slide. Okay, so this is me again. And after this, I've done a lot of talking, but after this, I won't have so much talking to do. Sort of the flip side of the coin of research is library instruction. So like I was saying, these are skills that are developed over time. And the more skillful you become, the more sort of intuitive these whole sorts of like processes and dispositions for research become. But in order to kind of get there, in order to sort of learn how to drive a car, so to speak, there's all these other sorts of points of instruction that we provide for you. For instance, you can enroll yourself in the library research tutorial. This is a self-paced course provided through Canvas, and you would enroll yourself in this course, and maybe towards the end we can do like a live demo to show you exactly where to go to self-enroll. And then it's self-paced, that means it's not live, so you can take your time going through the tutorial, which provides a really solid foundation for the kinds of basic foundational skills for using information, evaluating information, and being critical about information that you need as a researcher. The other thing that is happening this semester, which is kind of a new thing, is we're having a series of free live webinar workshops. And the series is called Library Live, and they're going to happen every Monday through Thursday in September. I and also my colleague Azalea will be co-teaching these live webinars. They're going to be fun, and they're also going to be very engaging. You're going to learn a lot of stuff about the foundational skills that you need, the types of dispositions that you need in order to be a really astute researcher, and to build confidence in your ability. Because everybody here who's at Cal State L.A., who's a student at Cal State L.A. has a lot to contribute. And we really want you to build your confidence in saying, you know what, I have something to say, and I know what all the other experts have said, and I know what these other experts have said, and now I know what I want to say and be part of this conversation. We want to really get you to have confidence to start doing that sort of stuff, because that's the kind of stuff that you do in college. Okay, then we also have course-specific library workshops. What does that mean? So you'll probably have the experience where you'll have a librarian who will come into your class, your specific class that you're taking, and provide a very focused workshop tutorial on how to access, for instance, the best databases for sociology, the best databases for psychology, the best databases for computer science. So those would be very specific library workshops that would happen in your class. And then finally, keep an eye out for the future, because we have a lot of really cool plans in the works for creating library courses, which you can take for credit. And they're going to be on all kinds of stuff that is so important to our world today. For instance, we're going to have courses that will interrogate the intersections of race, gender, and information technology. We're going to have courses that interrogate the contributions of women of color to the creation of different innovations in technology. We're going to have courses about what are special collections and archives, and how do researchers use these primary sources to create more and more knowledge. So keep that on your radar because we have a lot of exciting courses up ahead. Okay, and I think that's it for me. If you have any more questions, or if you want to just reach out and chat with me, send me an email. My email is leticia.terrones@calstatela.edu, and just so happy to meet everyone. So please reach out.
Hi everyone, again, I'm Azalea. I'm going to talk to you about special collections and archives. And I'm going to first start off by talking to you about what we do, just so you can get a better sense of what special collections is all about and the types of services we provide to students. So we provide access to special collections and archival materials. And special collections and archival materials are different than those that you can regularly check out because they're considered rare and unique. So think of museums, think of, you know, old documents, historical documents, documents that have significance, collectibles, one-of-a-kind materials. Those are the materials that you can find in special collections and archives. They're also considered primary sources. So first-hand accounts of a specific time or event. And you'll probably learn this more when you go through classes or if you're a history major. And if you spend some time in special collections and archives, you'll probably learn more about primary sources and the types of materials that we have. We also provide reference services. So similar to what Letty had mentioned and what Holly mentioned, we do provide reference services that are specific to the types of collections that we have at Cal State L.A. And how you can gain access to them. Again, because these materials are unique and rare, you can't check them out. And now, since we're in the virtual environment, there's various ways that you can acquire access to them. And I'll go over that in a little bit. And then we also do a bit of digitization. So digitization for you and also digitization for our class or for our collections to make them available online. And what I mean for you, we do provide digitization on demand. So if you do request a specific item from special collections and archives, we can scan it for you and send it to you through email. Because a lot of our collections are not available online right now, so we are providing that service where we are providing scans on demand. And we also provide class instruction. So as Letty had mentioned, we usually collaborate with an instruction faculty if they want their students to get a grasp of just an introduction of special collections or want to use special collections in their research or know what primary sources are. We do collaborate with professors in various innovative ways to integrate them or to show them what we do in special collections and also how to use the materials in their research. And another fun part and my favorite part of special collections is public programming. So we do a lot of interesting fun, well, I think it's fun, on highlighting some of the work that our students do, our collections. So for instance, we provide exhibitions. So we're working on online exhibitions now, again, because we're virtual. So we're moving our exhibits program into the online forum. So you should be looking out for some of our exhibits coming up. And a lot of our exhibits incorporate student work. Classes and collaborations with professors. We also do panel discussions that highlight our collections or various topics that come up. And a lot of this is based on the campus community that we serve. Another thing that I want to point out and what we do and what's really important about special collections and archives is that our focus is really on Los Angeles and Los Angeles community and people like you and me that are part of this community. That's a big part of who we serve, what we collect, and what's historically significant for us. So now this moves me on to our collecting area. So I did touch on this a little bit before. So what we collect in and what's really important for us is the history and culture of the communities of Los Angeles. So the stories of me and you, the stories of the communities of Cal State L.A. And the types of materials that we collect are manuscript materials. And what manuscript means, literally, it means handwritten. But when archivists think of it, we think of it including unpublished materials. So things like photographs, diaries, digital files, it can be textiles, hats, dresses, anything that has historical significance and those we consider manuscript collections or archival collections. So they're not like books, as I mentioned, but they're materials that can be used for your research, and they're considered primary sources, first-hand accounts of a specific time and period. And then archives, we also have archival materials. So an archive is sort of the operations of an organization, like their daily operations. It can be the daily operations of you or an organization, a person. And an example of that would be in our collections is a university archive. So we collect the materials of Cal State L.A. So all the important things that have happened at Cal State L.A., we have those materials. We have photographs and things that are yearbooks that represent the legacy of Cal State L.A. and the different things that have happened on Cal State L.A., like social justice movements, a lot of materials like that fall into the university archives. And then we also have rare books. So we, just like the library, we also have books, but again, these books are considered rare and unique. Sometimes they're signed by the authors, sometimes they're highly collectible. So what I like to say about special collections and archives is that we're part library because we have books, part museum because we have artifact materials, and of course part archives because we have materials that are that represent a specific organization or people. And then the reference services that we provide now that we're virtual, we do have a live chat service from Monday through Fridays from 10 to 5 p.m. So if you have a question, you can always reach us there, and that's on our homepage. And then here's our homepage website to find our live chat. And then also we provide research consultations, either one-on-one or group, and this would be via Zoom. And then you can always email us. And again, here's the website, our homepage to our website, and you can find what we collect, the types of projects we're working on, the types of collections we have, and our live chat service, and ways to get into contact us if you need any research assistance with special collections and archives, or just have any questions. And then again, digitization is really important. I want to make sure that you all know if you need anything in special collections, we do provide scans on demand. So if there's something that you need, we can go on campus, scan it for you, and then send it to you via email. So I just want to make sure that you know that that is a possibility. Even though you can't come into campus, we can still provide that service. And we're looking forward to digitize more of our collections, so that way in the fall we will be implementing this, and hopefully you could get more access to more of our collections. Right now we only have 3 up, but we'll have more soon. And I just want to bring up our student assistant and volunteer program. So if you're looking for opportunities or special collections and archives sparks your interest, the special collections and archives and volunteer opportunities that we have, I just want to let you know that it's really student-centered, very hands-on, student-driven, and it's meant to empower you. So you get to have, even now in the virtual environment, we're still doing this program, and so that you get to have a hands-on experience and learning a little bit more about special collections in case this is seems kind of cool to you and you want to know a little bit more about it. These are good programs that we provide for students to use our collections, and also possibly a career field. And then here's my contact information. There's my email, and I also included Mario Ramirez, who's also on this presentation, and he's the head of special collections, and also our department email if you're interested in contacting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Azalea, and thank you everyone for their wonderful and robust presentations. Before we move on to today's takeaways, if you do have a question, I believe you can type it into the Q&A slot. So if you have any questions about any of the information that was put forth today, please feel free to add a question there. Again, like many of our panelists said today, please also feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information was provided. We certainly would love to hear from you and to help you out. So before we end today, I was wondering if all of our panelists could do some quick takeaways for our students. So if we could do a really quick round robin of all the presenters to sort of just give maybe 3 highlights that the students should take away with them today. So can we start with Holly, maybe? Hello, Holly. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Don't disappear. Were you getting breakfast?
Yeah. Thank you for participating in this open house. My first takeaway, I just wanted to say, start your research using library homepage. Don't go to Google, and you know, when you're using Google, you can find a lot of results, but these results are really fact-checked, and some of them are outdated. And plus, everybody can publish the content on the web. So sometimes it's so hard to find academic resources. The library web homepage with a big Google-like search box, it's called OneSearch. That's where you start your research. That's my first takeaway. My second takeaway is don't panic when you get your first research assignment. And if you are not sure where to begin, you can always ask us. As Letty mentioned, on every library web page, there is a LibChat little yellow icon. You just click on that, ask your question away, or schedule an appointment with your subject librarian, who is going to take you through your research process. And also there is a big section on the library's website on the databases. If you go to databases page and select the references, you will find a big list of reference online tools. That is probably a very good way for you to get to know your topic, and that these reference tools also give you sort of brainstorming mechanism for you to look into different areas of a particular topic. So maybe start from there as well. So
thank you so much, Holly. Thanks, Holly. Matthew, what are your takeaways?
Hi, thank you. I would just say the takeaway is, I know I gave information about print resources, and a lot of that information was we don't actually know yet. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. As I said, we will update the information on the library homepage, but if you're trying to access a resource that you cannot find somewhere, please reach out to us. You can email us, library@calstatela.edu. You can also chat on the LibChat, and if it's a question for my team, as far as like getting something from another library or something like that, the librarians who are answering those chats will refer you to us as well. So please reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. Thank you.
Letty. You're muted, Letty.
Sorry, let me unmute myself. Okay, so I think my big takeaway is that I would like students to really think about college and, you know, your experience in college as being a very exciting adventure that is full of all sorts of twists and turns and opportunities. And all of us have many different reasons why we pursue a higher education. We do it for our families. We probably have very specific aspirations, dreams for ourselves, dreams for our loved ones, things that we're committed to socially and politically, all of that stuff. And college is like what's called a crucible, like a little space that's filled with all sorts of things. And when you heat it up, all kinds of dynamic stuff happens with whatever's in that little space. And have faith in yourself that all of the things that you want to accomplish, that there is someone there to help you and to guide you through the process. Probably for most of us, we're the first ones to go to college. That was true for me. And also, we probably, you know, are not 100% like confident in our abilities to get good grades and stuff like that. I want to assure everybody that the library, and in particular the librarians, are dedicated to help you get all of the things that you need, the skills that you need, even perhaps the mentoring that you need, the connections to other campus resources that you need, and particularly the connection to the scholarly materials, the books, the primary resources, the archives, the special collections, the peer-reviewed academic journal articles, all of the things that you need in order to be able to self-actualize your dreams. That is something that I really want to emphasize to you. There's no right way or wrong way to do college. The best thing to do is to always put your best foot forward and have confidence in yourself, and don't be afraid to ask for help. So those are the big takeaways that I would like to express to you. And if you ever need anybody to, chat about what college is like for a first generation Chicana, that's how you identify, or student of color, or working class student, or even just, doesn't even matter, those identities. You have to, match all those identities. I'm just saying like some of the things that I match to. If you just want somebody to chat with about what is college, shoot me an email, leticia.terrones@calstatela.edu. I'm I'll be very happy to help you. That's it.
Thank you so much, Letty. Azalea.
Yeah, I just want to say, don't procrastinate, especially when you're doing your research, just because I procrastinate too still, but try not to procrastinate, especially if you're doing a research project or a presentation, whatever. Just make sure not to procrastinate. So that's my one piece of advice. Also, as Letty mentioned, and I think all of the panelists have mentioned, I know people always say this, but it's true. There's no dumb questions. So always feel free to ask questions. The librarians everyone that works in the library is very helpful, and we're here for you. We're here to provide a service for you. We're invested in your student success. So use this service. We're here for you. That's what we do every day. And we're invested in your student success, and we want to see you succeed. So just reach out to us and see us as a resource for you, even in the virtual environment. I know it's a little difficult, but don't be scared to reach out to us, and no question is dumb. So yes, that's it.
Thank you so much, Azalea, and thank you to everyone for your willingness to help and your inspiring words. Certainly, I did not take advantage of the librarians when I was in undergrad, to my detriment. So please, I encourage you to reach out, email everyone. It is not a bother. I always felt like I was bothering people, and it was a bad thing. The few times I did reach out to librarians, it was the best thing I could have done for myself. So really quickly, we do have some events we want to mention. Next slide, please. We do, like earlier, that Letty and Azalea were talking about, they'll be doing some library live sessions, and so please feel free to attend those. I believe the schedule is available on the website, so please come into those, attend them. I believe they're going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays of September. It'd be really great if you could attend those. We will be having a series of open house, actually, so if you did not get enough of us this morning, and or you want to come back and invite your friends, and you want to hear some of this information again, we invite you to come back this afternoon at 3 p.m. and we'll be doing another open house tomorrow at 11. And we have an annual One Campus, One Book event. We'll be having a book raffle. And I believe this year's book is called Always Running. And so you're invited to join and read the book with us, but also we will be having a book raffle. And so look for information for that on the library website as well. So I believe we're done for the day. I mean, if we invite additional sort of questions from you if you want. Again, please thank you so much. Please feel free to follow us on social media or connect with us. Again, go to the library website if you're interested in finding us and contacting us. Beyond talking about some library related issues and how we can help you with your research and help you move forward in college, like Letty was mentioning and Azalea was mentioning, and other folks. We're also here as a resource for you. We've all been through this experience before. We've all been there. We did not sort of we were not born, with degrees. And so we've all struggled. And so we completely know what you're going through. So please feel free, reach out to us. Does anybody have any questions? Don't be shy. Well, in any case, if you don't have questions now, please feel to email us and let us know what's sort of going on with you, and also if you want to reach out to us and contact us, etc. And I believe, wait, there is a question. Okay, there was a question that I'm going to read really quickly. How can you find out who your personal librarian is? And Letty provided some helpful resources and links to our website that shows you what the librarian for your discipline is. And so you can reach out to them and talk to them. But again, you know, as Letty mentioned earlier, please feel free to reach out to any one of us as you should see us as a resource for any of the questions you have in coming in to the library and to the university. So again, welcome to Cal State L.A. if you're new. Congratulations if you're a new student, if you just arrived, and congratulations to everyone for persevering and making it through the virtual environment. So thank you so much. Oh, and Letty wants to say something. Go ahead.
Sorry, may I ask a question or two? Okay, I wanted to ask a question about so I wanted to ask a question about the special collections and the archives in particular. So, you know, this weekend was the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Chicano Moratorium, which is a very important, critical part of LA history, and particularly East LA Chicano history. And it's very prescient to what's going on right now in all of the struggles for social justice and racial justice. And so I wanted to ask the archivists and the, well, in particular, Azalea and Mario, what is like your favorite piece of, like, what's your favorite artifact or manuscript or something that pertains to the Chicano Moratorium that's in our collections, that's available for us to use and look at and study?
I would say, I mean, there's quite a few, but I would say my favorite is the brown beret from the Gloria Arianes collection. There's several of them in her collection, like I believe 4, but there's one in particular that actually has a patch of La Causa, and it also has a little piece of tape on the back of it that says Arellanes. So I know that that's the one that actually belonged to her, or she wore it, because the others could have just been collected, but I know that that one is one in particular that she wore. And it's also really requested for exhibitions. So one of her brown berets is going to be an exhibition at the Natural History Museum. I just sent it off to loan, and some of the buttons in her collection as well. And I just want to say another thing, because I'm very proud to work at Cal State L.A. because a lot of the students that were part of Cal State L.A. In the 60s were part of the social justice movements. A lot of Chicano students and Black students were part of that. So it's really great to bring up that history again, especially Letty, because you said it's really relevant. So there's like the Black Student Union newsletters that are part of our collection as well. And those are also very interesting to me, and also a favorite part of the university archives and the history and the student life history that I think we will be working on putting those up soon, because I think that's a priority for us. So yeah.
I just want to mention really quickly, thank you for mentioning this, Letty. I mentioned this to my colleagues already, if you haven't seen the wonderful series in the LA Times on the Chicano Moratorium, you should check it out. Some of the materials that Azalea mentioned are actually featured in one of the articles about women's contributions to the Chicano movement and their participation in the Chicano Moratorium. And there are clips of interviews with Gloria Arianes as well as some other activists. So you should really look into that as well. And you know, I really love photographs, so I love looking at all the photographs of people sort of in the streets and doing stuff. That sort of photo strip of Gloria Arianes in her beret is really fantastic, which is also featured in the LA Times article. And you know, and I always sort of, you know, I love the materials that we have, but I also think, well, like, what more can we do? And so, you know, I really look forward to collecting more on women and Chicana activists in East LA moving forward with this. This is something that we're really focused on. And so we're really happy to move forward in that direction in the coming years.
I just wanted to mention one thing following Mario. You can access LA Times from the databases link. You have full access to Los Angeles Times from the very first issue to today's. It's all available to you free of charge online.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Holly. Are there any other comments or questions from the panel before we conclude today? We have about 5 minutes.
May I ask, I have another question. Okay, this one is for Matthew, and it's about fines. So I've had a few students reach out to me, and they wanted to know about fines. Are we charging any fines at the moment because of the whole closure of the library?
Thanks, Letty. We are not charging any fines currently. Nothing is actually due during the closure of the library. So currently all items are due after January 31st of 2021, anything that was already checked out. There are, of course, some historical fines that existed before the library closed. And if anyone has any questions about fines, they can reach out to us. We can look, if you do have some existing fines or something, we can look at your account and talk to you about that, work something out.
Holly, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
So I know that we have like many databases. I don't know the specific number, but I imagine it's like hundreds of databases or so.
We have about 230 subscription databases on the database A to Z list. We also listed some of the useful open access databases. So that makes our list over 300
so
databases.
Of those 300, which is maybe like top 3, because I know it might be hard to pick just one. What's like one of your top 3 favorite databases?
My top 3 favorite databases, that's really depending on what you need and what is your major, what is your research topic. In general, if you are having sort of general questions, I would want to start with Academic Search Complete. Yeah, if you are a psychology major, you might want to start with PsycInfo. That will provide you with a lot of good scholarly research articles. If you're a communications major, you might want to start Communication and Mass Media. And if you are a business major, and we have ABI Inform, that will also provide you with great company information. If you are looking for example, company data, company resources, you can go to Business Source Premier, where you can find all about individual companies, how they're doing, what their CEOs, who are their competitors, all that kind of stuff, and company stocks, if anybody interested. So we have a range of databases, covers all disciplines that is studied and taught on the campus. And if you don't find anything that you need, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will find the resources for you. Thank you, Letty.
Thank you so much, Holly. Thank you, Letty. So we're at time. So I just wanted to say really quickly, thank you so much to our panelists for all the really great information they provided today. And thank you to our attendees for coming. Please feel free to come back this afternoon at 3 p.m. or come back tomorrow at 11. We'll be talking about similar themes, but I'm sure we could talk about, we'll get elaborate upon them as well. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you soon, and we'll see you at the library, and please reach out to us. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.